Hello, 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 everyone. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. I come to you here on Fishbowl Radio Network every Wednesday from 6. This is not Wednesday, every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Here on Fishbowl Radio Network. And I am yes, still on the big island of Hawaii. And hopefully I'll be able to make it home for a little summer R&R, but we will see. Well, with COVID-19 and everything going on, hopefully all of you teachers ended the school year very, very wonderfully. I had a good end of year, so I'm excited about that. And also, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, take care of all of our essential workers. And if you don't have to go out, don't go out. But if you can, be safe. So today I have another spectacular guest. His his why is people calling me? His name is Lamont Brown, and y'all know I always have a funny story of how I meet people. It was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, my Instagram goes off, and this young man is on Instagram, and he is doing a lab experiment with waves and gummy bears, and I'm like, wow, this is great. So I click something on Instagram. I'm in my pajamas with my hair bag on, and I end up showing up on his screen. I'm like, I turned the phone around. I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to be on screen. But I have been following him, and he is awesome. So, Lamont, Mr. Brown, the man, will you please introduce yourself?
Peace. Hello. Hello. First, I just want to say thank you,
You're so welcome.
Dr. Payton, for even having me on All About STEM Radio. Really excited to be here. So thank you.
You are so, so welcome. I'm trying to figure out where the Facebook Live is. Maybe my Facebook is smarter than I am, which happens about 90% of the time. I can't see it. I don't know. I'll figure it out in a minute. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your journey to becoming a architectural engineer.
Mm, that was quite a journey. Uh, but I would say, one of the things that I always tell people is that wasn't planned. I didn't always start out wanting to be an architectural engineer. And my passion has always been music, even since I was younger. Like I took piano lessons when I was in elementary school, like 6 years old. And then later that developed into poetry and writing music. And I was even in a gospel rap group called 3 in 1. Shout out to 3 in 1. And
Oh,
we, were performing every weekend, of course, in between going to school, to the point that we actually got a record deal my senior year of high school. And for whatever reason, the deal fell through and I was left with the choice. My parents said, boy, you're going to college, right? And I was forced to make a choice. And I was going to Flowers High School at the time. It was a science and tech school. I was good at math and science. I was like, yo, you know what? I'm going to just do what I got to do. I'm going to still pursue my music. I want to be an architect. And then I was talking to some of my teachers, some advisors, and they were like, well, architects don't make that much money. You should think about being an engineer. So I researched it and I found out that architectural engineering was actually a
mhm.
new field at the time. And one of the few schools that were offering an accredited degree in that at the time was Drexel University. So
Okay.
yeah, fast forward, I shipped off to Drexel. Nobody told me how hard it was going to be. Engineering school was so hard. Oh my goodness. I skated through high school. Yeah, none of those tricks work. Engineering school is no joke. But it is doable. It's possible. So fast forward, I was completely off task, and I got to tell this story. A lot of people don't know this. I was, throwing parties, wasn't really finishing my homework, was just really off task, just kind of taking the whole opportunity for granted.
Yeah.
And subsequently, I actually got in trouble with the law. I was pulled over like in the middle of the night. It was like 2 p.m. I'm coming home from a get together from a friend's house. This cop illegally searched my car, without just cause, ends up taking me downtown to central processing in Philly. It's the middle of the
Oh my
night. I'm
God.
like, I'm like, I just want to go home. I got class in the morning. Like, I'm not even trying to deal with this right now. But, it was a blessing in disguise, because what happened, fast forward to 2011. So this is the year before I was supposed to graduate. And I'd already been there for like 4 years. And I, was offered a PBJ, or probation before judgment. It was my first offense or whatever. And the gentleman that was supposed to be explaining to me what I had to do, I basically just had to complete a program and all the charges would be dropped, and nothing would be on my record. And this gentleman that I was talking to sat me down, he explained what I had to do, and then he was like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. I can tell that you're a leader. You're supposed to be doing more. And he was like, I'm gonna share this with you. So he takes the probation paper and turns it over, and he's like writing down all of these notes, and he's speaking into my life, telling me all of these amazing things. And then he ends with, you're supposed to shepherd an organization to help your peers find their purpose. Wow. And he didn't tell me what the name of the organization would be, what our mission would be. But I'm sitting here in this courthouse in Philadelphia in the hallway, almost in tears, as this person, this stranger, is speaking into my life. And that day, 2011, I'll never forget it, completely changed my life. And fast forward December later that year, I went to St. Martin with my aunt and my cousin. It's supposed to be a vacation. And I see this sign on an awning by the water, just near the beach. And the sign says SWA. And I looked over at my cousin, and he was like, yo, that's it. That's the name. And he, has never been that sure about anything. And I was like, SWA, you sure? But I researched it, and it, speaks to the tribal language, the original tribal language of St. Martin before it was colonized. And it speaks to the passion of the people. So that kind of became what was motivating me to actually start to get it together. So
okay, you froze.
I found other people that were in my major that were also into music, ironically enough. And, thankfully 2012 came and I was able to graduate and finish. But yeah, to answer your question, it was quite a long and tiresome journey, but it changed my life forever. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I'm just looking at what you do. I wake up a lot of mornings that you're on, and I'm like, look at this young man. Being a teacher, a lot of times, people want to put music into STEM, but sometimes they don't always pick the right music. They really don't. Sometimes they pick stuff that's out there, and it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't really match up with the kind of things you want kids to remember, or it doesn't stem that remembrance part. But I look at you and I listen to a lot that you do, and I'm like, wow, what he does makes sense. And tell me a little bit about, I want to talk about the videos that you do in the mornings. Because when I get into SWA and when I get into STEM the block, I want to be in there. But doing those videos in the morning, how did you get started with doing that? And, what makes the music for that and the motivation for that every day? Well, it's morning for me. It's 1 o'clock for you.
Yeah. So to be honest, I teach every day almost. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing STEAM education after school. I pull up at Boys and Girls Clubs at different art centers. We do Saturday programming. And this has been for the last 6 or 7 years. So I've gotten used
Wow.
to teaching in, let's say, unusual environments, like not traditional school settings. So
Mm-hmm.
when everything happened with this pandemic and COVID-19 and all the schools were shut down, I talked with our board of directors. I wanted to figure out how SWA Liga could help, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, whether the schools are open or not, our kids need a way to keep their mind sharp. They're at a critical development stage in their lives, and they need an outlet. They need something to
Yes.
help keep them engaged, so they don't just, get lost in the shuffle. So we started doing this IG Live, Facebook Live, STEAM workshops, doing it for free, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these activities that we do are based on the curriculum that I
I love
developed.
it.
Yeah, and a lot of it is stuff you can do at home. We wanted to find cool stuff that would be interesting, but still relevant content-wise. So we began just doing simple experiments. And actually, I can show you one. This is one of my favorites. I brought it just in
Okay.
case. Yeah, so here we have a regular glass and a card. This is an Uno card. I'm gonna grab some water right here. So stuff like this, I love sharing because, it's cool if I do it, but it's 10 times cooler when the kids are like, "Oh, I can do that too," and then they go home and
Yep.
try it, and then they do it, and now they're like a super cool scientist. So what we're gonna do is try to see if we can hold this card up using only this glass. I'm gonna take a little bit of water out. So what do you think will happen? What logically should happen after I turn this glass over? I'm gonna turn it over and move my hand. Logically, what should happen?
And y'all notice he asked me what logically should happen because he knows I know what will happen. Logically, if you turn it upside down, the card should fall away. Logically.
Logically, and that makes perfect sense to me as well. But sometimes science defies logic, and in this case, oh, so clearly I have too much. We're gonna have to do this differently. Clearly, I have too much water on my hands. We're gonna take it up a notch. Now, this is a bigger card and a bigger glass. That wasn't. We gotta get this right. We gotta get this right. So I'm gonna put some more water in there. Okay.
Uh-oh. The suspense. Dun dun dun.
So yeah, that card fell. Let's try it again. Bigger card, bigger glass. We gotta up the stakes. We're gonna up the ante. All right, here we go. Voila.
Now, why did it not fall?
Excellent question. So what's happening, what we're watching right now, there is a pressure reaction happening. So when we seal this, when we put the card on top of the glass, it creates a vacuum, meaning there's no air coming in here. But we know that because there's space, it's air inside the glass. So what happens, pressure goes from high to low. And we do the chant. We say high to low. We say high to low. Say high to low, high to low. And that helps us remember that pressure moves from high to low. And what I mean by that is pressure is a lot like, or air is a lot like people, right?
Yep.
Imagine being in a room where you're packed, there's like 100 people in a little tiny room, and you see a room across the hall that's empty. Nobody's there. You're going to want to go from that high pressure or high amount of people to a low pressure or a low amount of people. Air is the exact same way. Air wants to move and create that balance where there's less space. So just taking it back to our card example, when I flip this joint over, even though the card is upside down, water is on top of it, the air in this room is trying to fill that space. There's more air in this room than is inside of this glass. So this becomes a low pressure zone. So just like we say, high to low, air always wants to go from high pressure to low pressure. So when I turn this joint over, the air in this room is pushing up on this card with more force than gravity is pulling down. So that's one example that we use to teach about pressure. So many cool things. I mean, this is how planes fly. This is how rockets get off the ground. Like, all of this stuff is stuff we see every day but might not notice, you know?
And just think about it. What happened yesterday? SpaceX is a non-military or non-federal organization that just sent astronauts up into space. So, hey.
Which is amazing. I mean, the fact that, yeah, this is a company, y'all. Like, this is a company that a man started that is now sanctioning trips to space, or at least the upper atmosphere, for NASA, which is pretty major.
And if y'all don't know it, SpaceX is out of Brownsville, Texas. I've been by the building, y'all. Haven't been in yet, but I've been by the building a lot of times.
Shout out to Texas. Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about, you have a TED Talk.
I do. Tell
the audience about your TED Talk.
Yeah, so this was a blessing. This was in 2015. I was invited to do this TED Talk. Shout out to the whole team at TEDx Mid-Atlantic. They, reached out, and the theme that year was intersections. So this is early on, I would say, before STEAM kind of really started to catch on as a buzzword, especially here in the States. And that was the entire focus of my talk. It's on YouTube right now. I hope everybody watches it. And what I'm explaining is the power of the arts. For whatever reason, even now in the 21st century, the arts is not taught widely in school. It's just not. And it's not incorporated.
They're taking it out.
They're taking it out. The funding is getting cut and things like that. So the talk was around why the arts have to be included when you're talking about STEM, especially if we're talking about getting our Black and brown kids involved and actually engaged. Exactly. It's so important. You have to have that creative element. One of my favorite parts, and I got this from my mentor, I was like, how important the arts is when we talk about learning, from this song that we all know. And I'm going to share it with you right now. It's a classic song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, we don't just learn it by staring at these letters and they're like, hey, you got to memorize this. They do it in a song. And that is the fundamental component of learning. So, yeah, I hope everybody goes and watch that TED Talk. Look it up. Lamont Emmons Brown. That is the basis for what we do at SWA Foundation. And when I did that talk, we had been doing this program for 2 or 3 years. And I was talking about how we needed to add that international component, because that's another.
Okay, you had froze on my screen for just a second. Hey, if y'all are just joining us, I have Mr. Lamont Brown from SWA Foundation, and he is an awesome young man. I want to say hello to Miss Gibbons. She's watching, and Brandon Lewis is watching, and Rue is watching. So we've got a lot of people that are on right now. Some people that are probably driving, and I can't see them because they're not messaging me. But I want to get into, you talked a lot about music and being taken out and people not understanding the importance of music in STEM. But, are the arts in STEM? So think about it. When you hear a commercial, like the McDonald's commercials or Vroom Vroom, that's a car commercial. When you hear certain commercials and you hear the song from them, that gets you interested. And that's a sound thing. That's a STEM thing. A lot of people don't get that. They don't understand why that's important. But it really and truly is. I had to take that other earpiece out. It's an echo in my head. But, everything out there, the sound is very much important. Now, tell us about SWA Foundation, what it is, how it got started. You gave us a little information of how it got its name, but how to get started, what does it do, and then tell us about STEM the Block.
Mm, all great questions. So first, I got a shout out to the tribe. I'm live on my IG right now. Swaliga, baby. Shout out to the tribe watching all around the world. We see you. We love you. Swaliga, baby.
And
So,
I shared it with you on Facebook Live, so
excellent.
you can click on that. Go ahead on. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it. So, I told the story of how, I was inspired to start this foundation. It started off rocky, my personal path, but just as it progressed, Swaliga was founded in 2012. And
Ooh.
again, that name, Swaliga, means passion. So our initial goal was to help young people find their passion, whatever it is, and that blossomed into now what we've developed as STEAM the Block. That's our movement. That's our brand of STEAM education, if you will. So going back to our conversations is using the arts as a tool. I just saw when I came back I was born in DC,
Mm-hmm.
and I came back and I wanted to start volunteering there. And we started at the Boys and Girls Club in Northeast on Benning Road.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things that we saw success with is having teens come to the studio. They wanted to come to this music studio and learn how to make music. Some of them wanted to make beats. They wanted to rap. And we basically showed them how all of that relates to science and technology. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally the frequencies that you're hearing. If you want to add more bass to your track, you got to turn up the amplitude. Like it's so many intersections right there that we were able to pique their interest with the music. And I saw that was a direction that we needed to head because there was just a lack of engineering and technology skills being
Mm-hmm.
transferred specifically. And just in research, I mean, if you look it up, the percentage of Black people that are in STEM related fields is ridiculously low
Yeah, it
compared to,
still is.
yeah, it still is. It still is. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but that became one of the things that I saw Swaliga could help with, and
Mm-hmm.
being that bridge, showing young people how all of this stuff relates to things that they actually love. Like science doesn't have to be boring,
Mm-mm.
engineering doesn't have to be super hard. We overcomplicate it. And I think using the arts makes it a lot more approachable, a lot less
Mm-hmm.
intimidating. So that's what we began to focus on. Now we do after school programs, we do cultural exchange programs, we do free community events like the Steam the Block Party that we've done 5 years in a row. All of these things work towards establishing a culture where young people are interested in STEM and not only interested, but engaged.
Mm-hmm.
We've had at least two of our students that have gone with us to South Africa as a part of our cultural exchange program go on to major in STEM related fields.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, shout out to the homie Jadir, he was saying that he wasn't really sure about what he was going to major in. He's now majoring in mechanical engineering. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And him, along with some of our other students that went with us, are super dope artists. They're just talented naturally. So it's been a joy to figure this out with them, if you will, and just
Mm-hmm.
have that led approach. I think that's one of the things that makes us unique is that it's not us as educators or even their parents trying to tell them, okay, you need to do this, this is how you need to learn. It's really just giving them that platform, giving them that voice and say, all right, this is where we need to get to. How do you want to get there? Like, how do you want to learn? What's the way that's going to really pique your interest and keep you engaged? And Swaliga continues to do that even right now as we're locked down in this pandemic, even with everything going on. We're providing more virtual classes like we were just talking about, the Steam the Block live show. The whole purpose of that is to keep kids and families engaged. And I think, in addition to the curriculum, it's about just letting people know what opportunities are out there. So much stuff that is out there, career paths, businesses that don't even exist yet that we could actually take the lead on and pioneer. But if we don't know about it, then how will we ever take advantage? You know?
And that's one of the reasons I stick with this show is because people tell me, oh, my son or daughter is in STEAM or in STEM. And I'll say, oh, well, what are they doing? Well, they took a coding class 2 years ago. Okay.
Right,
So what are
right,
they
right.
doing now? Well, they really don't have time for it now, but they really want to be in STEM. STEM is so broad. It's so much to it. And that's why I love doing this show because people get to meet people like you and get to talk about, architectural engineering, electrical engineering, and so on and so forth that make it so interesting. And, Dr. Jones is on with us, and Elizabeth is here, and Miss Gibbons says, great approach to teaching. I love this. I love this. I'm loving this. But you know, you talk about going international, what Swaliga Foundation
Yeah,
does international. Would you tell my audience
yeah,
about some of the things that you've done, some of the places that you've gone, and what did
absolutely.
you do when you were there?
Absolutely. Yeah, so going back to 2015, that was the year I did the TED Talk. I was invited to a leadership program in South
Mm-hmm.
Africa. I had never been. This was my first time on the continent. And during that TED Talk, I was like, we want to take students. Now, fast forward, when I actually went there, that trip completely changed my life. I mean, that was an experience that is really hard to put into words.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage everyone, if you've never been, you definitely got to visit the continent.
Oh
And
yeah.
specifically South Africa is a beautiful place.
Well, I've
But
been
what
to
happened?
Kenya, so.
Oh yeah, I know Kenya is beautiful as well. But what happened when I went to South Africa? The organizers of the trip heard about Swaliga and they asked me, like, would you want your students to experience this? I'm like, yo, everybody needs to hear this. Everybody needs to experience this. And it completely changed my life. Now, we work with students all year round after school. I know they love the program. They see me, they be like, hey, Mr. Image, hey, what's up? Swaliga. Like, they get excited. But that compared to 1 week that I spent with the students we took to South Africa, it was like
Mm-hmm.
night and day. From the time that we left to the time that we got back, they were their posture was different. The way they spoke was different. They had more confidence. And not only did they talk about it, how it was life changing to them, their families, their parents commented on how they were changed, how they were impacted from this trip. And that happened in just a week. So I was like, all right, we gotta figure out how to keep doing this. Now that was our first trip in 2016. It was 3 educators and 2 students. Fast forward, we went again the next year. There was 5 students, and then in 2018, we had 75 students and educators from across the country.
I mean, and I saw that on your website. I was like, look at this. I
I
mean,
saw
it
one
was
person from
awesome.
Eldo. Oh, shout out to Eldo, South Africa. We love you. Um, we do workshops, STEAM, health and wellness, and entrepreneurship workshops at the high school. We visit
Mm-hmm.
universities in the area. We have some really great university partners. Shout out to Val, Technological University of Technology.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we get to see sites. Our biggest thing is connecting with the people. We get to go to some great local restaurants. Last time we went to a safari. We get to take tours of the city. We got to see Soweto. And then the whole week culminates in this big concert. We do a Steam the Block party. So we did a Steam the Block in Soweto featuring students from South Africa, students from DC, Houston, Texas, LA, a lot of the other cities that went with us. And it was amazing. I mean, we have an amazing time. And that type of experience, I would say, just really, that's at the core of what Swaliga does. Again, just going back to being the bridge. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these students had never experienced STEAM education. And a lot of these students that we took with us had never left the country. So you have mashup that happens. Like we just create this perfect storm for not only young people to learn about themselves, but to, you know, get a taste of a different culture on both sides. So it's been an amazing thing. This cultural exchange program that we do, we're now continuing it virtually. For the past 3 years, we do this digital exchange. So
Mm-hmm.
like our kids from South Africa, kids from DC, other cities, we connect online and we'll have a different STEAM topic. We'll have youth performers. It's actually really
Mm.
dope. And the purpose of it is to give them the platform, and they, you know, they shine every time.
You know what? If you don't mind, I am going to make sure I send your information out to some people that I know in Nigeria who are really trying to start some STEM programs, and so they can connect and see what you're doing, because you know you're going to be and are a great asset and a great tool for this. Because as we said earlier, a lot of people, they think the word STEM is all encompassing, but it's not. You got to break that down. You got to see what you're interested in and what you actually like and want to do. My aunt Mickey is waving at me, so I had to wave back at her. Love your aunt Mickey and Crystal. Yeah, but you know, tell me about some of the people that support you in the Swaliga Foundation.
Oh man, we have so many amazing partners, so many amazing educators. The list goes on. I don't know if we have time to list everybody that supports, but um, yeah, I would say just starting with the core team. You know, everything is kind of shifted now with everything that's going on in the world. But just our core team. I got to shout out my nana. She's like my executive administrator, making sure that I stay on point. So shout out to Nana. I know she'll watch this later. But yeah, I mean, in addition to that, LJM, Michelle, Victoria, Brittany, you know, the list goes on. These are folks that are helping to make this thing happen on the day to day. Now, I'm technically the only full-time employee of Swaliga Foundation,
Yeah.
but we have lots of part-time educators that we work with that help to make sure these kids stay engaged.
Wow.
Part-time staff that helps execute these cultural exchange trips, because that's a lot of work. There's no way that I could do that by myself. We have an amazing team that
Hmm.
helps to do that. Then, in addition to our board, Adrian Liu, who's the chairman of our board, he actually graduated with me from Drexel University. He's an engineer as well. You know,
Wow.
um, yeah, mentors, Tony Small. And then, you know, I got to shout out our partner organizations too. That most recent trip in 2018, where we went there with students from across the country, that was made possible through partnerships. Shout out to South Union. That's one of
Oh,
our partners in Houston. Shout out to Village Mindful Wellness. You know, that's one of our partners in LA. Miss Denise, Ephraim in Houston. And then shout out to Tumi and Ashley. Those are some of our partners in South Africa that kind of help to be our voice, be our ears to the ground, if you will, on what's happening over there. And, you know, and we have partners like that in a lot of different countries. But that's really what allows us to do what we do. We're not a huge organization. We don't have $1 million budget quite yet, you know, but we're doing the work. And that's only done through collaboration. So I'm grateful for the partnerships and the people that are continuing to help push this mission forward.
hey, I mean, you're doing it. You're doing something awesome. You're doing something great. And what I want to ask about, because you mentioned STEM the block party. Well, before I do that, uh, tell people how to contact you, how to
Yeah,
find Swaliga Nation, that kind of thing. I mean,
I'm glad
foundation. I don't know why I said nation.
I'm glad you said that. We are a nation. We are a tribe.
We are.
So I encourage everybody connect with us on social media, on Instagram at Tribe Swaliga, SWALIGA. Follow the tribe, man. Stay connected. We do a lot of amazing things all year round. That's on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you prefer, at Tribe Swaliga. you can definitely visit our website, connect with us online, which is probably the most important thing to do. If you go to swaligafoundation.org, SWALIGA, swaligafoundation.org, join the mailing list. We send out information about different programs that we have. A lot of it is free, no cost to you or your family. And then, connecting to different resources. We have events, a lot of things going on that people need to know about. And, so we definitely are looking to connect with people, especially if you're into STEM or if you're an artist. We definitely want to be connected with you, and you need to be connected with Swaliga.
And when he says artist, y'all, he doesn't mean just somebody who draws or creates pictures. He's also talking about music. He's talking about, you know, sculpture,
Dance, photography,
anything in art. Yes.
paint,
Oh yeah,
everything.
photography.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
So,
forms of
think about that. All forms of art is extremely, extremely important in this. Now, STEM the block. I want you to tell me about one of these block parties. That's what I want to know about.
art. Definitely. And I got to drop some bars. I'm going to spit a quick rap before the end of
Come
the
on.
show. But she said, come on. But that's, yeah, you see the shirt that I'm rocking?
Love
It
it.
says block. This is, again, going back to the early stages of Swaliga, this was something that was created with our young people as a movement, to where we're using the arts, but we're connecting these different people that are impacting our young people. So that means the schools, right? The local businesses, parents, teachers, these corporations, brands that our kids support, universities, all of these different entities that are impacting our kids. We want them at the table specifically around their education, because that's one of the most important things. Knowledge is power, so the Steam the Block party became like an amplified version of what it's like to be in the classroom with Swaliga. I mean, there's music, there's food, there's games, there's activities, there's STEAM workshops. You can play with the drone over here. You can go build a tower using the engineering design process over here. You can go make a beat on the drum machine over there. Like, it's so many things really just made to pique interest, if you will, stimulate the mind, and really present STEM in a different way. And one of the things that we're proud to say is that this event started in DC. We've done it in partnership with the ARC. Shout out to the ARC in Southeast DC for the past few years. And it's just a great way to get the community out. Just going back to that original formula of how we were getting teens to come after school voluntarily to the studio to learn. This is the same thing. We throw a big block party, have food, have a concert, amazing artists. People are going to come out, and we use that as an opportunity to not only get them to learn about STEAM education, and how that can help, but just to learn about Swaliga and how we all can work together to continue to impact our community.
Oh, that is awesome. I bet it's big, it's fun. Everybody enjoys, kids, parents, teachers,
Yeah.
whoever shows up probably has a great time. Now, you have something that's coming up. What events do you have coming up? I know you got a trip that y'all are going to try to make this year.
Every single year, I think I froze for a second, but yeah, we have a ball every single year. Last year was super dope because we had 10 students from South Africa, from Eldos, come to DC, along with students from Houston, LA, and a couple other cities. And this was their first time out of the country, first time in the United States. And they came to DC to kick it with us. So that made the block party even more special. It's just a big celebration. We're out there just cutting up, having fun, and we just happen to learn at the same time. So this is this same model we're doing in different places. So that's how there's a Steam the Block party in South Africa. We're planning one for Rwanda. Shout out to the tribe in Rwanda. This model, it just works, right? Because one of the things that I've learned, as much as we need to learn, we need to take on new information, people want to have fun, especially kids. Like, at the core of it, we just want to be somewhere where it's good vibes and that we're having fun. So we can create that environment and center it around learning, then it's a win-win-win for everybody involved. That's the goal with Steam the Block.
Well, do you have any events or anything coming up before the end of the year?
We do. So ironically enough, the Steam the Block party this year was scheduled for June the 20th in DC. They had to postpone it for obvious reasons.
Yes.
So just, making everyone's health and safety the number one priority. We're doing a virtual component on the 20th. I'll be online and we'll do some workshops. We'll have some performances. And that's leading up to, we'll be announcing the new date. We postponed for another date later this year that we'll be doing a Steam the Block party. But we encourage people to get involved. And that's why I said it's good to go to the website and you want to join that mailing list because that way you'll stay updated on all of the things that are happening. We actually have a digital workshop this Saturday at 10 o'clock. It's free. The information will be on our website, be on our Instagram. Follow us at Tribe SWA. This is a digital exchange, kind of how I was mentioning earlier. So here you have students, you got educators, you got artists. Shout out to our SWA arts ambassadors, Fourth Quarter Collective, some of the artists that we work with in South Africa. We're on giving our youth the platform. This is their time to share, to really express themselves. So we have youth performances. We'll have different topics. Last month we talked about everything from 3D printing to mental health, so it's a wide range of topics, something that everybody could be interested in. And this is something that we're now doing bi-weekly, as was requested by our students, So that's an easy way. If you want to engage with the tribe, if you want to see what SWA is up to, just jump on these calls. It's free. And that space is there for you. So I'm excited to continue to do that.
And I got to make sure I share your website with everybody when we get off of here. So tell everybody how to contact with you once again, because I'm going to keep asking you that because I want people to connect with you.
Yes, thank you. So again, our website, swaligafoundation.org, SWALIGA, swaligafoundation.org. You go there. That's our home base online. You can get all the information about the organization, upcoming events, stay connected with us, see what's happening in your area, see what you can jump in virtually and online, connect with us. You can also donate there as well. And we're proud to say that all of our donations actually go towards programming. Like our donations, things that we get, support, even if you buy a t-shirt like this one, we have t-shirts and merch on sale on the website. That money goes directly towards keeping STEAM education free for the young people that we serve. So we appreciate the support.
That is, hey, you just said something. Keeping STEM education free or low cost or whatever. I mean, you're putting it out there. You're not just doing it in your neighborhood. You're doing it across the world. What I find to be so demanding, so outstanding. And I had a thought in my mind and it just flew out when somebody's name popped up on Facebook. But, we've got a few minutes left. What would you want to tell my audience, about, what words of wisdom do you want to give to the STEAM audience that you're speaking to right now?
There's a lot of things.
Pearls of wisdom.
There's a lot of things that I would like to say, but I think it's more important, especially right now with everything that's going on in the United States, that people know their purpose. I've been saying this since the beginning of SWA, and to be more specific, because I know that that's difficult for some people to understand when I say that. When I say know your purpose, I mean find whatever it is that you're passionate about, that you love to do, that nobody has to tell you or beg you to do. You're going to do it anyway. Whether it's something arts related, whether you might just like cooking, you know, you might like movies, you might like video games, whatever it is, whatever you're passionate about, that is usually linked to your purpose in some way. And it's our job to figure out how we can connect it and be of service. So using me as an example, music has always been my passion. It's something I've always loved to do. And becoming an engineer is kind of something that just happened, but I was able to use that as a way to be of service and to transfer those engineering skills to people in my community. So I encourage everybody right now, especially with all of it's a lot of doubt, it's a lot of fear, it's a lot of stress and anxiety going on right now. And I know me, even as an adult, even as an artist, a businessman, I have family around me, I have a support system. It's a lot. I'll be honest. I was talking to friends earlier. It could be overwhelming just even watching the news and just seeing everything that's going on. But one of the things that helps to keep me grounded is, you know, prayer and walking in my purpose. Like I get up, I have that outlet. I can go do music. I can go learn. I love to learn. Always be a student. And all of these things will continue to help you be successful in life. And if you don't know what you love to do, or you haven't figured out that thing yet, don't worry. There's no age limit on it. You know, you can be young, you can be old. There's no age to find your purpose. But what helps is if you get around other people that already know their purpose and are walking in it. That usually helps you kind of figure out, okay, this is where I can fit in and find my special gift. You know, so I encourage everybody to do that. If there's anybody listening to this that's interested in pursuing some type of STEM field, whether it's engineering or anything else, I gotta warn you, it's hard, it's difficult. However, all great things require some sort of sacrifice. So it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable, you know, to be able to excel in some of these fields. And now is the perfect time. It's the absolute perfect time to do it, because as we're moving into this new century, it's careers and skills that haven't even been created yet that you can pioneer. You can be the first one to do it. That means there's no rules. You literally are creating, writing the book on it. So that's why I'm very adamant about making sure that young people at least know what's out there. And that starts with knowing your purpose.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind, we've got like a minute left. Can you give me a quick beat?
Oh,
a quick rhyme, a quick rap, a quick something.
Quick rhyme. Okay. All right. So because SpaceX just launched off into the atmosphere, I'm gonna do this joint that I did called Atmosphere. I'm gonna do it a cappella. We won't worry about the beat for now. This is coming out soon. So mic check, image your captain here. We are now exiting the atmosphere. Now, if you look out your window, what you'll notice here is first we got to go through the troposphere. Now, that's the troposphere. It's the troposphere. It's the first most layer of the atmosphere. Everything from the ground up, 9 miles high, is the troposphere. That's the troposphere. Now, if you feel it start to get a little cold in here, that means we about to move through the stratosphere. Now, that's the stratosphere. It's the stratosphere. That's the second most layer of the atmosphere. It's where the planes are flown. Call it the ozone. Pressure change here with the temperature. Clouds look a little different 31 miles up here in the stratosphere. And also one of my favorites.
You are awesome. And we went over for a minute, but Gary's going to yell at me anyway. As long as I bring him cookies from Hawaii, he'll be okay. I hope. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Lamont Brown. He is the founder of SWA Foundation, a awesome organization. Please, I'm gonna put him on my Facebook page, on the All About STEM Radio Show Facebook page. Y'all look him up. Y'all request his newsletter, and hey, you know, be a part of the game. And I said this yesterday. Be a part of the game. If you want to be in STEM, be in STEM. If you want your children to be in STEM, get them involved. Don't just go out and buy all these apps and all of this and all that. Have them build the app. You know, be part of the STEM/STEAM game. And until next Monday, I will see y'all later with another outstanding guest, which I have Les Wilson. He is a musician here in Hawaii, and I'm excited to have him on, and he's a college student. I'm all about it.